confront, interrogate, and be able to communicate our cause. In this context, we are talking about informal traders, popularly or well known as vendors in Zimbabwe. I have a prepared speech that I will present, and we will have a quick discussion over that speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with a heavy heart, compelled by the unjust actions unfolding in our beloved city of Harare. As we continue to prepare and as we also continue to welcome our esteemed leaders from SADC, we should be filled with pride and anticipation. Yet, instead, we find ourselves witnessing a gross violation of the very values we hold dear: justice, dignity, and the right to earn a living as expounded by Section 24 of our Constitution. In the pursuit of presenting a polished and pristine image to our visitors, the authorities have turned their gaze upon informal traders, those resilient men and women who, through their hard work and determination, have managed to provide for their families in an economy that has failed time and time again. These are not criminals. They are not enemies of the state. Vendors are citizens and entitled to enjoy benefits of this country. They are our mothers, our fathers, brothers and sisters, as well as ordinary citizens who have turned to informal trading as a means of survival. In the context of this conversation, our authorities in Zimbabwe should know better than all of us that they have a responsibility and duty to look after these informal traders. Yet, in a bid to impress and pretend, the authorities have chosen to crack down on these traders, sweeping them from the streets as though they were nothing more than just an inconvenience. Let us be clear. This is not about cleanliness, order, or the rule of law. This is about a cruel and calculated effort to mask the harsh realities of our society. A society where the majority of our people are forced into informal sector because the formal sector has failed to provide for them. And by now, most citizens are aware why we have a ballooning informal sector. This has nothing to do with the vendors themselves. It has anything and everything to do with policymakers, the very authorities that are taking informal traders as an inconvenience. It is shameful that in a time when we should be showcasing the resilience and ingenuity of our people, we instead choose to hide them away, to strip them of their livelihoods, and to undermine their right to work, conflicting the spirit of our Constitution. What message does this send to the world? That Zimbabwe values appearances more than the welfare of its own citizens? Is that what we want to portray? Is that what we are trying to communicate to the world? That our country values cleanliness, and appearances, more than the welfare of the very people that should be protected. That we are willing to trample on their rights and the vulnerable in the name of vanity. To the authorities, I say this. I repeat, to the authorities, I say this. The true measure of a nation is not in how it appears to outsiders, but in how